touch that throne, lad, and you'll be hobbling out of this throne room with your sword in an uncomfortable place. Do you understand? You're a funny-looking vulture, aren't you? Oh, you seem confused. I was referring to what you are and what you're doing here. It's been a while since I've spoken to another person. But you are indeed a vulture, looking to pick the corpse of this great city clean, until then nothing but bones and scraps that remain. Am I wrong? I thought as much. First conversation in 300 years, and it's with a thief. Bah. You wish to strike me down with that? Oh, and take the riches of this city for yourself? I wouldn't try that, lad. It'd be a waste of time, both yours and mine. And you did it anyway. I'm not surprised, and a good thrust too. Went straight through. I want to... this sword is rather distracting. Much better, don't you think? Who am I? I understand that it might not be immediately clear, but I am the king. You don't seem convinced. You're probably wondering why I was able to take a sword to the chest and walk it off, am I right? Well, take a look at this. Firstly, let me ask you a question. Do you know where you are? And no, I don't mean my throne room, I mean here. Do you know what city you're trying to pick clean? That's disappointing. You don't even know where you are. Then, allow me to educate you, since it appears that you're in desperate need of it. My name is Tommin, the cursed king of Randir, the city of ghosts. Welcome to my legacy. History will not recall the city as it once was, I fear. It will be remembered as the open wound that it has become. You might not believe me, but this city, it was once beautiful. It was the perfect city with a perfect king. At the very least, I believe this to be true. Randir stood as a bright light, a reminder that the success of a kingdom stands or falls on its king. And I was a great king. I was fair, honest, and I would stand with sword in hand in every battle. No man was below me. I saw everyone as equal to me, as I had been the boy of a blacksmith before I became a king. I understood the needs of my people for a great leader, and I became that leader through the many battles that I lived through and the men that I commanded. But to become a truly great leader, you must make plans for your people that may outlive you, plans for the future generations. But I grew in fear for my successor, afraid that they would not see the city and its people the way that I saw them. I was afraid of aging, of leaving my post, of death. I couldn't allow my work to be undone by my successor, even if they were my most trusted friend. I could not allow anyone else to rule my people. This fear, it would be my undoing, and it would also lead down a path to what you see before you now. Ruination. As it approached the 30th year of my rule, when my people's success was at its peak, I sought out the advice of my most loyal men. Men I had granted the title of Tondera, the king's voice. These men, they were my first and final solutions to any problem. They were strong, effective, and cunning. They always knew the importance of secrecy. I had sent them on a quest to find a woman that was a myth within our land, the land of the mountains, a witch that lived within the caverns of the mountains that was also said to make deals with those that she favors. My Tondera brought the witch to the city and to my audience. I wanted to make a deal with the witch to grant me the thing that I had long sought out above all others, all other pleasures: immortality. The witch was accepting of my request, and a deal was arranged. But in my arrogance, I had thought to trick the witch. But I had been wrong in this deceit. I had made a mistaken judgment that would come to haunt the many years that followed. The price of my immortality came at the cost of a life every fortnight. A life that I would have to take with my own hands in exchange for all the lives that I would outlive. I would have to kill my own people just to live long enough to protect them. I could see in my mind the witch laughing at me from the mountains. My very deceit was to send her the bodies of my people that had died from natural causes or from misfortune, in order that my hands would stay clear from her evil. I used my Tondera to transfer the bodies to the witch in the dead of night, and I would ask them to leave strangle marks on each of the bodies, just to give the false impression that I was true to my word. I was arrogant to believe that this deceit would work. The witch, she saw straight through our act, but she didn't react immediately. Instead, for every body that I had sent, believing that our deception was working, the witch made a fog appear before the city. It was small at first, barely noticeable and harmless, but it grew more thick and deadly with each trick, and eventually it transformed into the poisonous barrier that trapped this city from the world outside. My people, they'd all been kept in the shadows of the truth, not aware of the dangers or of the deal that I had made and broken. But as the fog grew, and the people started to die from the fog, and with the food running low, I had to tell my people the truth. They rejected me for the first time within my rule. They felt betrayed. They were right to feel that way. I wasn't thinking clearly, and I told them if they wanted out of the city and out of my reach, all they would have to do is walk through the fog. They couldn't stand with a king that had agreed to such a deal, even if he did not act upon it, and so called my bluff, and many attempted to leave the city. The loss of life during those few weeks of rebellion against me, it was immeasurable. Those that didn't leave, they tried to live with what they had. Some attempted to grow their own crops on the dead land, but they all eventually perished from this realm. In the end, after many years of struggle, I was the last one to remain in the city alive. Even my Tondera all passed on, and I became the king without a kingdom. The witch had kept my immortality as a punishment. She knew that I would try to betray her and would lead my people into ruin. She knew this, and she watched me as I suffered. When the city fell into its deep, silent sleep, that was when she came. She mocked me for the deal, and said that the word of the lands outside my kingdom were that of rumour and tales of the cursed king. A sorrowful tale of selfishness and arrogance. She teased that within the annals of history, Randir would never be remembered for the greatness that it once held, but instead, its untimely ruination. That would be my legacy, My punishment. That I would never be able to be at peace again. That I was to wander this empty city until the mountains were ground to dust and the sea were to flood the lands. Until the end of times. Since then, I have been alone in this chair of shame, a constant reminder that I am the one responsible for all of this. What? What could you say that would lessen the burden on this mind? To untrouble the thoughts for just a moment? What could you possibly say? You, and your presence here, it means... I understand. The door! The clear sky! There is no more fog. There is only the clear blue sky. Oh, I beg of you, tell me, stranger, where do you hail from? From the southern shores of Silik? Or from the Bastion Valley to the north? The valleys. Oh, good. You were not aware of this city, or its curse, or its cursed king. And with the fog clearing, although I have never been affected by it, it means that I can walk through it and enter the world anew. I could be just an old man. Not a king or a selfish man, but just an old man. I can live with that. Although what I have done will never leave me. No. Maybe I can make amends with my own soul by helping others. Maybe I can do something good at least. No one in the outside kingdoms would ever remember my face. I am immortal, but not from aging. I have weathered enough for that to not worry me. You can take what you want, thief and stranger. I don't care for any of it. But be careful. With the fog clear, many more may come, many more the same as you did. You might not be able to keep this kingdom to yourself. Now, I must take my leave. There's so much of the world out there that I have yet to see. Fare thee well, stranger. Fare thee well.